I was partying too much, chasing women, doing drugs, doing alcohol. But I always had that I could do way more. Actually, I had to change my life 180 degrees.
Meet Chester. He achieved success in e-commerce through Pinterest, making as much as 30k per day. If you run an e-commerce store, your biggest fears are probably either getting your ad account banned and burning money through high advertising costs. My guest today has the solution through Pinterest, the untapped market. He explains exactly how he finds products, structures his campaigns, and builds a business. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff he usually reserves for paid coaching, but he was generous enough to share it all with us.
Pinterest is a really underrated platform for a lot of dropshippers. But on Pinterest, you don't have these problems. You launch a campaign on €10 budget, never gets blocked. In June, I did like 300k. The best markets right now on Pinterest is just...
Welcome back to another episode of the TheoClarkePodcast, where I interview e-commerce entrepreneurs. Today's podcast is sponsored by Commercive Fulfilment, your trusted fulfillment partner. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Chester. Chester, what's up, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good, yeah, very well, thank you, very well. It's been a pleasure meeting you. We were just having a chat next door in the other room. Great to learn a bit more about you and the things that you've achieved in your life so far. You're also telling me that you've been in Ecom for around about 3 years. You're doing some interesting stuff with Pinterest, which is quite unique. I don't really know many people in Ecom doing Pinterest. Normally, when I'm talking to people, I say like 90% of people are doing Meta.
Yes.
You've got about 10% doing Google, and then Pinterest doesn't really come up in conversation much. So really looking forward to learning a bit more about yourself, how you broke away from, you know, the life in the Netherlands and essentially relocated or temporarily relocated here in Bali, and just what that process was like. So if you don't mind, I'd love to hear a bit more about your journey and I guess how it all started.
Yeah, thank you for telling all this. Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me. Let's have a great conversation. And of course, Pinterest, that's funny. Everybody's indeed on Facebook or Google, for example. But I run actually now my Ecom for like 3 years. I did Pinterest when I began and still doing it. And right now, doing pretty good. And like I said, I started Pinterest or my Ecom journey back in 2022. I started with my ex-girlfriend, and that was not a really good choice, to be honest. Starting a business with your girlfriend, that's not... But I was not, when I first started, I was not in a good place. I was partying too much, chasing women, doing drugs, doing alcohol. I also had a gamble addiction, and I just worked a normal 9 to 5 at a clothes store, and my life was just, no clarity, no purpose at all. But I always had that I could do way more, I mean? You feel that somewhere, that's like, hey, this life right now, I can do way more, I have way more potential. So I remember I was sitting on the toilet and I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw an ad, people making money online. So I said that to my ex-girlfriend back then. Like, I see this, people making money online, why not give it a go? So, we did a call and the program looked really nice. It was from Thomas Mulder, back then Pinterest. And it had a mindset coach in it as well, all this stuff. So I was really interested in that and learning that. And to finally do something with my life as well, right? But when I joined the program, I was still not in a good place. So I was I wanted to go there, changing my life and become better. But I also still had a shitty environment, friends who always partied, and I was also in that environment. So I actually had to change my life 180 degrees. So it took me 4 or 5 months to actually come to a point okay, right now I'm going all in. Right now I'm going to cut my old friends. I'm going to say no to party. I'm going to say no to this. I'm going to hop on this journey and see where it will lead, bro. So, and I remember the program did a 21-day challenge on Pinterest, and we had a Discord group, or I think it was Slack, I don't know, with 4 other people joining the same group, and they kind of keep you accountable. And we did group calls. We can ask each other questions about Ecom and stuff, and we got told that group was the most active group of the whole program. So it was it's nice to hear, you know what I mean? So everybody's really involved. So after the 21 days, it became a little bit better. And I made a WhatsApp group with these people. So to keep each other accountable and to stay in touch. And I was then also currently doing the monk mode. So okay, no social media, just like really like lock in, right? And I remember after 3 months, yeah, then it was like February. Okay, after 3 months, it was like April. I did my first 50K in revenue. 10K profit, maybe like 8, you know. And then I immediately quit my job. So I was doing like a sales job. I was calling people. Also, that was also from home to renew their phone subscriptions, internet, whatever. And I remember I called my boss and I said like, okay, listen up. I'm going to quit my job immediately without even working out my contract. And he was like, okay, but officially we cannot do that. But he was really chill about it. He said like, okay, just send me an email. We get it done. So, okay, I hang up the phone. I was like, okay, now I'm in charge of my own life. But also now, okay, all my bones are burnt. There's nobody gonna save me right now. Plan A was Ecom. Plan B was also always Ecom. So now it's like, okay, let's get this thing going, right?
For sure. I just want to pause there if you don't mind.
Course,
just because I think you touched on so many important things that actually more people go through than not, I would say. Like a lot of people that do get involved in ecom, it's maybe not the first job they've ever worked. I mean, I know we've got some younger guys coming through now and some people are getting into ecom at sort of 16, 17 or 18, which is great. But like for most people, like yourself and like me, you know, we started, I guess, in some senses a little bit later. You were 23, I believe, or 24?
24.
Same as me.
Yeah.
I was 24, I'm 29 now, and it was the same. I'd been working like a 9 to 5 for 9 years from the age of 16, you know, and it took me just as long to kind of figure it out as you did. I always knew that there was maybe something more that I wanted to go on and do, but I didn't quite know how to do it. And similarly to you, I stumbled into ecom, but exactly the same as you, my mindset wasn't in the right place at the time. I purchased a course on high ticket dropshipping, and I had access to that course. It sat in my email inbox for maybe a year because I was working full time. I was doing uni. I was really into the gym at the time. You know, you're single, so you're dating girls and stuff. So like this dropshipping thing that I wanted to do was way down there in my list of responsibilities and things that I wanted to do. And it took me a long time to actually get around to doing it. So when you were in that situation and you had all these distractions, you know, friends that maybe didn't have the best habits, and you were doing things that maybe weren't aligned with what you truly felt like you should be working towards, what was the thing, do you remember like what the thing was that allowed you to kind of push forward out of that? Because that in itself, I think, is quite difficult to do.
True. That was really difficult. Because I had like 2 or 3 really good friends. We were always together, partying, always at home chilling. We did everything together. And I remember I had a conversation with my mom, and I said to her like, yeah, I feel so distant to these people right now because they don't understand what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Like I go home, I'm watching podcasts, I'm reading books, ways to develop myself and to detach myself from the old me, you know what I mean? And I think what was really important for me, and that's what my mindset coach always told me, is you need a clear why. Read it down, you know? Why are you starting a business? What are your dreams? What are your goals? And a lot of people say always, yeah, I want to have financial freedom, but okay, everybody wants that, right? So you need to go a little bit deeper. So remember when I was doing the monk mode, so 3 months, and that was where I like changed to like becoming a better person. Every morning I woke up around like 5 a.m. And the first thing what I did is I took my journal, and every day, like at first I'm writing down like, okay, how I feel, what I want to do. And then every day I wrote down the same goals and dreams. And I did that in the morning and in the evening. Every day it was the same. So, and back then I didn't have anything. So my goals was just like, I want to have a driver license. I want to travel the world. I want to help my mom financially. I want to do all these stuff. I want to quit my job, etc., etc., etc. And some of these goals were like really big, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can never achieve them. That's what you feel in the beginning, right? It's like so far away. And I remember doing that every morning, every evening. So sometimes when you have a choice to like go for the short-term pleasures or work on your business. So for example, my friend is calling me like, hey, let's party. But then because it's so implemented in your brain, what you're every day writing down, your goals and your dreams, you always think, nah, because your why is so strong, you're going to work on that business because you are on a path on becoming way more than you are right now. So you say no to these things, to these, short-term pleasures. So that really helped me. And yeah, I remember 6 months later, everything came true also because you manifest that as well.
Yeah,
and I'm a big believer of manifesting, talking to the universe or whatever, telling them, I'm ready for something new, something bigger. And when you work towards that, because you can, of course, you can do all the stuff you can, like, wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, this and that. But if you don't put in the action, the actual work, which got you there, nothing going to change. So it's also important to execute.
Yeah.
Whatever you say. So
dreams without action or execution are just dreams, right?
Yes.
And I'm also a very, very big believer in manifestation, and same as you, I have to keep updating my goals because every 6 months or every year they come true. And maybe I'm not setting big enough goals, I don't know, but I keep achieving the things that I want to achieve, and there's some, not magic to that, but like it's a real thing, They say, I'm probably not going to get the words wrong, but like your brain doesn't know the difference between things that have happened or things that are going to happen, right? So you can essentially retrain your subconscious mind into believing that something is already happened and start living your dreams as if they're in the present. So same as you with the journal and writing down and speaking things out to the universe, I do a similar thing, and I have done it for years. It's called a mind movie. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's basically like a 2 to 3 minute long video. The length isn't important, but it's images, or basically it's a collection of images of things that you're working towards. So when we were speaking out there and you said, what's your why? And I said, I want to essentially, one of my images is I see my family around my Dubai home smiling, proud and taken care of. So it's an image and then an affirming statement next to it of things that you're working towards. But you watch it every day and every evening and you speak in the present. So it's I see my family, not I wish, I want. It's talking to yourself as if it's actually happened. And I think that slight change in play on words as well is so powerful. I try to remove any I can't, I cannot, any of these words. They have so much more meaning than people think. And I think we share the vision on mindset for sure. And like we were saying, I think you do some coaching now for Pinterest, or you're transitioning into it, same as me doing coaching for Ecom. And the same way that you joined that program in there, the first thing they focused on was your mindset. And for me, it's the same. I have a module on mindset, adopting a winner's mindset, your vision board, and accountability journal. And there are 3 things that you spoke about earlier was making yourself accountable by joining a group of like-minded people, having a circle around you that's working towards a common goal, and visualizing every single day what it is you're working towards. So I think you even said the word clarity as well, and I say the same thing. Once you understand what you're working towards and why you're working towards it, you have clarity on the goal, and then it's not a question anymore. It's you wake up, you already know what you need to do. If you need that reminder, watch your mind movie, write it down, get to it, and that's the only way you're going to get there.
Yeah.
So past the point of that, you mentioned that you had been in the group. I guess would it be a total of about a year? Because you said you got in maybe 4 or 5 months, you were focusing on your mindset and stuff, you didn't really see much progress, joined the 21-day challenge, and then you got to 50k per month by about June, you said. So would that be over the space of a year, or was it shorter than that, do you think?
A little bit shorter, because when I joined the coaching program, that was in June 2022. Also took me a few months to get to work in every day. Sometimes 1 week we didn't even do anything because I still was in that bad environment. So I think it was, when I really started, it was around like November. A few months later, then the 21-day challenge came. April, I hit 50k in revenue.
Cool, yeah.
So then I quit my job. So things went pretty fast.
Running an e-commerce business means facing challenges like shipping delays, high cost of goods, and even payment processor holds. But what if you could simplify your logistics and increase your profit margins? That's where Commercive comes in, our sponsor today. Whether you dropship from China or you're using a USA 3PL, Commercive are confident that they can help you save on costs. With WhatsApp support and a straightforward, easy setup, Commercive ensures that your operations run smoothly. Having served over 3,000 e-commerce sellers, Commercive has gained a reputation for reliable fulfillment, serving the likes of Andrew Tate, who uses Commercive to fulfill his top G merch. Click the link in the video description or visit commercive.co to learn more and get your free quote today.
And that's mainly because I was really focused in that period. And that's also a thing. For some people, it will take 2 years, 1 year, maybe 1 month, 3. For everybody's different. You can never know the journey behind that person or what he did before, what got him there. Mm-hmm. So for everybody, it's also different.
Yeah. You know, I see it a lot in people like yourself who I would consider to be successful, you know, that everyone has been on their own journey, but more often than not, like, most people have come from a similar sort of position. Yeah. Like, it's easy to, I guess, look at people who are where you want to be and think, oh, you know, they never had to go through what I'm going through. And it's easy to almost have that sort of victim mentality when you're in that place. But once you've been through it, you can see that there is actually a clear path out of the situation that you're in. And it's the same for everyone, bro. Like, everyone that I talk to on this podcast, everyone's been through hard times. No one got handed anything on a silver spoon. And that's what makes you into the man that you are today, you know? It's all part of the journey, but sometimes it's that first step that's the hardest.
The first step is the hardest, and that's also funny. I remember when I was in that program and I had a coach and I was asking her, like, I'm doing so much work, when do I see results? And she said, just really calm, like, you need to understand 95% of people joining this program will also not make it. They won't even start, they will not make the first month. And she said to me, you're doing a good job already. You're already in the program for a few months. Results will come eventually. And she said, like, you need to see it like this. Here's the success. You're pushing. Here's where a lot of people stop. And here's actually where the breakthrough is, you know what I mean? Like, here's where, hey, you have the momentum, you can grow. But a lot of people just quit right before that.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I don't know if you're consistent for a long period of time, you learn from your mistakes, you will always win.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll always win.
Always. It's almost inevitable, I feel like. Like we said a moment ago, or I think it was prior to the podcast, like, e-commerce, we're not doing anything that no one's done before. So you know it works. It's not like we're trying to, you know, break the world record for, you know, running the fastest mile and you don't know if you can do it. Like, ecom, hundreds, thousands of people doing ecom. All right, we might do it in slightly different ways. I like Google, you like Pinterest, other people like Meta. But at the end of the day, all we're doing is selling products to people online. So the model itself works, or whatever model people go into. I normally say, just, if you're not sure, just pick something. It doesn't have to be ecom. If you want to become a trader, learn trading and just do that day in, day out. If you want to, I don't know, get into, what's an example? I don't know, anything. Just pick something, you're going to figure it out, like, or get some guidance. And I think that's the most important thing. Just keep chipping away at it, because it's not something someone else hasn't done before you.
Business is really 80% mindset and 20% strategy-wise.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people don't understand. Like, when you're trying to tell them, work on your mindset, or do this, do, you know, the journal, whatever, writing down your goals, thinking about your why. A lot of people don't do that because they think, yeah, but that doesn't gonna bring me money, because I need to know how to actually make money with the strategies and all. But the strategies are everywhere, you know. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it through a coach or find it out yourself. But the success what got you there is because of your mindset, because of the hard work, staying consistent, discipline over motivation, cutting all the noise, cutting all the distractions, and just really lock in. That's the only way, actually. Yeah.
You spoke about monk mode, and I think, I guess for anyone that doesn't really understand what that is, it's basically just stripping out all of the, what would you say, not endorphins, stripping out all of the
bad
dopamine, the bad dopamine, yes. You know, the junk food. Yeah. I was going to say coffee, but I guess not coffee, but like the sugary food, not training at the gym, just bad habits, bad routines, staying up late, all of this kind of stuff. You're just kind of isolating yourself, no alcohol, that kind of stuff. And by doing that, I guess what you're actually doing is just stripping out all of those quick hits of dopamine, the things that we all crave when you're scrolling on your phone or on Instagram, you know?
I think that's also a thing. A lot of people see other people making money online or seeing their great lifestyles, and they compare themselves, you know, to these people. Like when you scroll, you see so many people living their life, and you think, oh fuck, you know, you get FOMO or whatever. So that's also a thing, and that was for me. That's something way different. But when I did the Pinterest thing, and then I earned some money, you scroll on Instagram, you get shiny object syndrome because you see people making money there. You think, I need to hop on this train, I need to do this. And then to get back to what I said, you never know the journey behind a person. Maybe he's doing it for 5 years, maybe, you know, I don't know. So that's also very important, focus on one thing at once.
Yeah.
You cannot do all the things and think one business will blow out, you know what I mean? So, and that's with the monk mode, you limit yourself from all these. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Like, when I did the monk mode, I didn't have social media. And when I had it again, I was like, I didn't miss anything.
No.
It's still the same. The people are still posting the same shit, the same bullshit. You don't miss out on any important stuff for yourself growth, you know what I mean? Because it's all within yourself. So that's a really good one to do a monk mode once a year.
Yeah. I mean, social media in some ways is a blessing. We wouldn't be here today on this podcast had it not existed, you know? But it's also, there's a lot of downside, you know? If you are stuck in that mode of just comparing yourself to other people, I mean, comparison can sometimes be good. It can be motivating if your mindset is right. You know, if it's, okay, I want that, I know it's possible, that's what I'm going to work towards, then fine, you know, and actually be working towards that goal. But if it's coming from maybe the wrong place or the mindset isn't right and you're comparing and think, why don't I have that, you know, feeling like a victim mentality, that's just not a good place to be, you know. And it's easy to get into that mindset when you are so far down that route. But it's just those steady, consistent changes of getting yourself out of there and then moving forward, you know. But yeah, I like that we touched on mindset, because I think it is a really important thing, and also goal setting as well. Two things that I think everyone can benefit from. I still do it now. Every day I'm watching my my movie, and maybe you do as well. I don't know.
Of course.
So, you know, powerful. But so you finished the 21-day challenge. You managed to hit 50k per month, and that was solely from Pinterest ads, right? And then how has things kind of transpired from there? Because I guess that would have been maybe, you know, a year or just less than a year into your ecom journey. You've been in ecom 3 years now. So how has things changed for you over that time? You're still mostly doing Pinterest. You showed me back there you're running multiple stores. So like, what was that journey like from there on out? You now saw this has proof of concept. I've quit my job. I've got rid of plan B. I'm going all in on this thing, which I would also recommend most people do when they can do it, because that's when things are really going to take off, you know. And is that what happened for you? Did things start to take off?
Yes. So, yeah, like I said, in April I did 50k in revenue, and actually it always doubled from then. Yeah, just 2-3 months. So in May I did 100k. In June I did like 300k. And yeah, that was like crazy. That was like, what is going on? You know, I'm hitting 10-15k days with only one good product. And then you think, because I'm still very young in my business journey, right? So I remember, you know, doing 10-15k days, life is good, making good profits, all that stuff, going on holidays, because that's also a thing. Like, I never had the money. When you once have the money, you want to do things. And that's where things also got down really fast, because right now, when I see it, when you have momentum and you're doing good numbers, okay, reinvest your profits into better systems, hire people, all that stuff. But back then I didn't know. Nobody guides me on how to really set up systems, hire people. So I was just like, I was running 10-15k days. I was in Greece with my ex-girlfriend. I'm checking my dashboard, seeing 4k profit today, tomorrow, the next day 5k profit. And I'm there living my life and thinking like, this will never go away, you know. But then, because it was also a fashion product, like after 2-3 weeks, the problems came in. A lot of emails. I had like, one time I was like on 400 emails a day, you know what I mean? Wow. People complaining about the size is not good, the quality is not good. So then after a month, so right now we're in August, I was doing like 1-2k losses, you know, every single day for like 1 or 2 weeks. I was like, what the fuck is going on? My whole business is crashing down, you know. This is so bad. But yeah, that's because you don't know how to set up systems, you don't know how to manage I was still running my business on my own. I was an employee in my own business. I only eventually had one guy who was doing my emails, but that was it. So a lot of problems came in. So then, but the problems and the issues I faced then, I will not have them anymore right now. And I think people always need to learn from the mistakes, because businesses can be so super hectic. You're facing so many problems, you don't know how to deal with them, but if you maneuver your way through it, you build thick skin, you can overcome everything. And that's what happened. In 2024, that also I was focusing on so many things at once. I was doing Pinterest, I was doing Facebook, I was doing a little bit sort of branded dropshipping all at once, while one business wasn't even outsourced for like 50%. You know what I mean? I wasn't even doing profits in one business, and I was doing so many things at once. And that's because I got the shiny object syndrome from so many people seeing like, hey, people making money there, 20K days there, this and that. I was like, I need to do so many things.
Yeah.
And that's where I lost maybe in 2024, I lost maybe like 80K or something.
I think it's all part of the process. Like you said, you have to go through that to learn from it. Because like yourself, I was the exact same. I didn't maybe suffer as many losses, but I made the mistake of doing everything by myself, treating it like a 9-to-5, because I'd been in one for 9 years, and I just thought, well, I need to work this many hours every day to feel productive, because that's what you do. That's what I've always done. So because of that, I would just find things to do everything myself, and you end up doing so much stuff that you actually prevent the growth of the business. Plus, because I was making money and it was the first time I'd ever made money from my own business, I'm thinking, well, I want to keep the profit. I'm not reinvesting anything back into the business. And you think back and you're like, so stupid, man. Like, how does that even make any sense? Now I can't reinvest quick enough. I'm like, okay, next thing here. And you asked me earlier, with regards to me doing podcast, mentorship, and an Ecom store, how do you balance all three? And I'll relate it back to kind of something that you said there is, rather than it be losses, it's just like learnings. So for example, it's just wins where everything's kind of scaling up. You stabilize maybe for a month, take a breather, just review everything. Okay, from this growth on all of the different businesses that we're running, treating them like one thing, because in a way they are. You have the podcast, which is ecom focused, the mentorship, which is e-commerce, and then the ecom store. So really, although they're three separate entities or three different assets, they're one business in its sense, but they each have different team members, operations, this kind of stuff. So it's just clarifying what stage each of these businesses are at. And this is why coming to Bali has been a perfect time for me. And my intention was Q2, I just was building and just focus on getting everything into a point where it's not only maintaining, but even potentially still growing whilst I'm away. And I'm pleased to have done that. With the ecom store, it's fairly easy because it's just adding new products and increasing ad spend. With the mentorship program, it's just making sure I stay on top of doing a YouTube video a week, and I've got someone doing my emails and my Instagram stuff. So now, although the businesses are still growing, it's just taking a moment to review while I'm away. Okay, now I'm not at my desk every single day. What are still the things that I'm having to find myself doing? And I've just been making a note of all the things that I'm having to still do, and now figuring out if I need to make another hire or how I can offload that onto existing employees and what that looks like. So it really just comes down to answer your question from earlier off of the podcast, how do you manage all three? It's really just being very critical of where my time is being spent and having clear guides on who is responsible for each thing. This has taken me a very long time to learn, bro. I wish I knew this when I was 25, not 29, because my life would be very different in the way I'm operating now. But we were speaking about what is our why and why are we doing things. I want to be able to get to the point where I can just work a deep work block every morning, 3-4 hours, and everything keeps on moving. So now I know that. Another thing in my vision board is I work a 4-hour deep work every morning and everything gets done. Another one is I have teams and systems that allow me to automate and systemize my business so that it runs without me. These are all things on my vision board, exactly what we were talking about. So I know every day what I'm working towards, and while I'm here and I'm away, I'm noticing the things that I have to pull out my laptop quickly to do. And it's an irritation while I'm trying not to work while I'm away. So that irritation is good enough that it allows me to then identify, I don't want to do this, I need to find a way to get someone else to do it. And it's just, you keep iterating, and that's how I'm doing it so far. Obviously we're not at extreme scale yet, so I would imagine it gets more difficult at scale, but the process remains the same,
Yeah, it sounds perfect. And I think, to get back to it as well, it's like, you also need to understand money management, you know. So when
Yeah.
when you're first starting a business and you get profits in, don't spend it on like, you know, like materialistic things, holidays or whatever, because you need these profits into your business, because you also know ecom is very cash flow intensive, right? You have payment processors holding your money, PayPal, Klarna, whatever. You need every penny what's coming in. That's actually not even your profit, but you need to reinvest it. So for example, for me, what I'm always saying is like, when you're making good profits, make sure you also get rid of these profits. If you want to X2 your business where you currently are, okay, you need better systems, you need more employees, you need this, you need that. So reinvest, outsource as soon as possible as well if you have the good momentum. That's also a thing. A lot of people that I know doing business 3 years, they're still a one-man army in their business. They didn't even outsource their departments, which is really easy for them to outsource, which is super time consuming, which is super boring, and they know exactly how to do it. Outsource it. For me, I'm a lazy entrepreneur. I can say that. I like to go quick, you know, outsource it very quick and trying to figure out, okay, what can I improve upon these departments, you know what I mean? Because eventually you also need employees in your business that are way smarter than you in that department, right? For example. And for now, I can say, like, I run Pinterest and doing 25, 30K days. It's pretty much 95% outsourced. I'm doing calls every day to check if everything runs smoothly. My front-end manager, my back-end manager, front-end manager with the strategies, my back-end manager with the disputes, with the customer support and all that. But it's still running 95% outsourced. You know what I mean? That I think that is where you eventually want to go to have the freedom also, and to also focus on different things to keep growing.
Yeah, I think that's great. Do you mind sharing a bit more about like what your team structure looks like? You mentioned there front-end manager, back-end manager. Yeah. If it was on like a, I guess a tree, like what does that look like?
So, okay, I'm currently still like thinking about strategies, ideas, implementing that into the business, because I think like your creative mind, you can never teach someone that. So then I have the back-end manager and the front-end manager. So the back-end manager makes sure that she analyzes the disputes coming in, the chargebacks, how to handle that, how to do that better, so that it's also a whole department with customer support team. Then we have the front-end manager. He manages every department, for example, media buying, product listing, creatives, etc. And in all these departments, you have also people managing that. So you need to think about departments. For example, okay, we have customer support here with disputes, emails. Okay, when they have questions, they go to the backend manager. With the front-end manager, you have departments for like product listing, media buying, creatives. Yeah, these three departments. If they have questions, they go to the front-end manager. And if the front-end manager, the back-end manager have questions, they come to me eventually. But I want to make sure that everybody in my team knows a little bit about every department, so that everybody can communicate very well and solve their problems with themselves, and that they don't need me, you know what I mean, in that whole process. Because having a lot of stores can be also a lot of work with fixing all these minor issues in the business, and you don't want to do that anymore. You want to focus on the bigger things. So yeah, that being said, we have right now like I think 10 employees, and yeah, currently I told you the numbers, but like Q4 is coming up, we want to do way bigger. So then, okay, we're going to discuss with the whole team how can we actually achieve that within 3, 4, 5 months. Okay, we need way better systems. We maybe need better payment processors. We need more employees to actually go through these numbers. And yeah, that's what we're currently planning, and that's going good so far.
How do you keep a pulse on things? Did you say daily calls? Like, do you have kind of reports and information coming to you, or is it all done on calls, or how does it work?
Yeah. I have my daily reports, my weekly reports. So for example, with refunds, okay, what is your refund rate? What is the most refunded product? What is the issue? Okay, that's just coming in weekly to see like, hey, where can we improve? And for each store, that's also different, of course. Each store have their own problems. And it's also with the front end, with analyzing the data on which strategy is working the best for each stores as well. I'm getting that data, and then I'm seeing, okay, this is actually working very great. Let's focus on this more. But this is not going good for this store. Okay, let's get rid of this. And I think that's also a very important factor in the business, is analyzing the data. I don't know if I said it to you, but before, everybody I know or anybody in this planet can do 10K days, can do 20K days. But can you do it consistently over 6 months? If you don't know what got you there, then it's just luck or a one-time thingy. So I think like for a lot of people, you need to analyze what works for you. You need to do a deep dive in your analyzing reports to see what's actually working and what not, so you can do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, because that also happened to me, I did 10, 15K days, but I didn't even know what got me there, you know what I mean? So I was just like, headless chicken, running, you know what I mean? Just, okay, yeah, because that's also a thing. Dropshipping can be a loop of testing products every single week. But you can also see if you test a lot of strategies, what actually sticks to you. And that's where a lot of people don't do. They don't dive into the reports because it also takes a lot of time, of course, to see everything for yourself and like be consistent on a daily basis on checking what's working for you. But if you do that, I can guarantee you, if you really know what's working for you, then you can do it over and over again.
Yeah, there's a saying, I don't know if you heard it, they say what gets tracked gets managed.
Yes.
And it's just exactly what you're saying. But the problem, I think, maybe that people face is trying to do too much. Because like you're saying, you've got 10 employees, you have a front-end manager, a back-end manager. So I'm sure you still have a lot of things to deal with, but you can find the time and the energy to focus on the top-line metrics and make the decisions off of the back of that. And like you say, the analyzing the data is the most important thing. And I think you probably learned that, or at least I think I learned it from ad management, when you're inside of the ad account, because you're trying to see what changes have had a positive impact, a negative impact, and then iterating on the back of that. So if you treat your business like the same, and you have KPIs almost like your business has its own ad account, you can kind of figure out which departments are lacking and where you need the things to improve. I normally find that with each, season of growth that you go through, you uncover new bottlenecks, at scale. And I'd imagine these are sort of things that you're facing as well. And like you say, you want to fix up your operations before you push into Q4 again. So maybe we could touch on that a little bit, actually. You talked about having some quite big goals for Q4 you want to really kind of push. You've got multiple stores that you're running at the moment. Pinterest is still like the core of your strategy. Would you say 80% or 70%?
Yeah, so currently it's like Pinterest like 80%, Google 20%. And we still, we actually want to expand to like having 20 Pinterest stores, because that's also a thing, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Because a lot of people are on Meta, a lot of people are on Google. Okay, Meta, you know how it goes there, ad account, blogs there, top-up fees, whatever, you name it. A lot of stress, a lot of chaos every single day. I also did Facebook for like 3 months. But on Pinterest, you don't have these problems. You just have one ad account, never gets blocked. If you do good numbers, you can do good numbers for a long period of time. It's just so stable. And that's also a thing, you don't need a lot of money to invest to do Pinterest because it's a low-scale business. So it's also going to take you a longer time to get to these good numbers. But when you get there with a lot of stores, you can do really good and it stays really consistent, really stable. So Pinterest is a really underrated platform for a lot of dropshippers. And
I guess maybe that'd be a good question to ask then is, okay, you're launching a new store. What's the process? Like if you're trying to launch a Pinterest-focused store, how do you even go about doing that, and what does that look like?
So at first what we do is we do competitor research. We just go and find good running stores on Pinterest. We copy their team or whatever, but for me, I already have my team, so my store layout, etc. So I just copy my own. But that's the first thing what you need to do if you don't have that. Do competitor research, just copy, paste it to your own market. And the best markets right now on Pinterest is just Germany and USA. So that's what we're building on. Product research, we do that all through Minea. We just, like I said, just competitor research. We keep a sheet with a lot of stores. And we just check, okay, what are the best sellers, and we just copy paste it to our own stores. We do the creative research, and that's also just copy paste in the beginning, and then we just launch ads. Eventually, when you see something sticks, okay, we're gonna make our own creatives or our own touch to it to milk the whole product out. You know what I mean? But that's the whole process, not really I think it's just pretty much the same as Facebook. You know, so.
And is the testing process similar to that on Facebook?
No, for me, I only launch my ads on Monday and Friday. That's where I also only analyze my data. So it really depends as well. Like for us, sometimes we launch 100 campaigns per week, but it's also comparing to Facebook, where a lot of people are on Facebook, you test single products on 50 euros, for example. But we do we launch a campaign on 10 euro budget. We slowly scaling it. So, and yeah, we can do a lot on there as well. We can A/B test with certain budgets, certain strategies as well. Don't want to give too much information about the strategies as well, of course.
Well, you never can. You said earlier, most people don't even take action.
No.
So I wouldn't worry about that.
No. So, it's... what I said, we launch ads on Monday and Friday. And for every store it's different. You just need to figure out what's working for each store, which strategies are working for each store, and then just go double down on that. And for example, right now we have 9 stores, so we're just figuring out every store, what's working, what's sticking, and what's not. And then we go there.
Hi guys, it's Theo. I hope you've picked up some valuable insights to apply to your business. If you're still here, our analytics suggest you're in one of 2 categories. 1, you're a business owner looking for new insights to scale your operations. 2, you're an agency owner looking to deliver more and charge more for your clients. We've helped clients like you achieve incredible results like this, and this, and this in the last 12 months alone. When I'm not here in the podcast room, I'm delivering on my Google Ads agency with my business partner Joe, driving millions in profitable sales by improving Google Ads as a powerful sales channel for your business. I won't keep you for long, but if you've enjoyed our free content, then imagine how much value you'd get inside our closed community of exclusive content where we teach proven strategies to scale e-commerce businesses using step-by-step frameworks and weekly coaching calls in a community full of entrepreneurs. Check the link in the video description now for more info. All right, now back to the podcast. Okay, so if you were launching a campaign for a new store, do you do an individual product, or do you come up with a bunch of products? Like, what does that process look like, and what type of campaign would you launch as well?
Yeah, so it's for Pinterest, like your account needs to be warmed up in the beginning. So, and that takes like 2 weeks, I think. So we launch just conversion campaigns, and that's with Performance Plus. And we don't launch individual campaigns. We do a bunch of products in just one campaign. So for example, we always do in the beginning, we launch 5 product campaigns or 10 product campaigns. Okay, 5 product campaigns we launch from 5 euros, 10 product campaigns on 10 euros. Per product we have like 4 creatives, but we A/B test it in the beginning to see what works. So the first campaign, okay, we do 10 products, 4 creatives per product, and the other campaign is like a duplicate, which is the best creative, so only 1 creative. And then after 2 weeks you can actually analyze, okay, what is working better for us, just 1 creative or 4 creatives? Okay, that is, for example, 1 creative is working really good. Okay, then we pick that creative out, we make more creatives from that winning creative, launch more ads, and so we on, So I think that's a process. And next to that, we also launch a lot of collection campaigns. So for example, right now it's summer in Germany, right? So you want to launch fashion collections. So for example, sandals, shoes, sunglasses, swimwear, whatever. That works really well as well on Pinterest. Collection campains.
Is it a slightly older demographic on Pinterest, or is it mixed?
It is a little bit older, yeah. I've did a deep dive into that, and yeah, most people like age between 50 and 65.
Really?
Yeah. In the USA, it's a little bit different. They're like younger, but for example, in Europe, they're more older. Yeah.
That's interesting, and I wonder if that has any impact on the type of customer that you are dealing with and complaints and stuff in the back end. Do you feel like it makes a difference?
Yes, like older people, they complain more, of course. They are more hesitant. They're like, hey, where's my order? They can send an email after 1 day, where's my order, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a bottleneck, of course. But no, that actually goes very well if you have just your customer support team good into place with good systems, good email flows. But no, actually, it's... And that's also a thing, like every market is different. So Germany, more older people, USA, more younger people. So, yeah.
What would you say makes a good Pinterest store? Like, is there anything that stands out? Like, these things need to be in check for it to kind of work. Is there a certain type of AOV, a certain niche? I know you said you do competitor research, but is there certain things that you see across all 9 stores that kind of line up?
So we have a general store, so we sell everything, right? So it can be fashion, it can be gadgets, it can be home decoration. Because I feel like if you test a lot of products, you can then eventually check what's working for you. So for example, if you only test on one niche, so for example beauty niche, but it doesn't stick with that store, that's not a good thing. So we make sure that we can test a lot of products from different niches to eventually, for example, we have one store where beauty niche is very good, so then we're only going to focus on beauty niche, for example. And the AOV on Pinterest like around €40.
Okay, AOV on Pinterest €40,
Yeah.
and then what's a typical CPA?
CPA, that's also for every store different, and that's something where we don't really look into the data, because for us, because you launch a bunch of products into one campaign. So you have, for example, sometimes you have 100 creatives in one campaign and only 4 creatives are spending. So you actually look way more into the campaign itself. So like, okay, the products are having high spend, but the ROAS is very shit. Okay, turn off these products. After a few days, you then analyze the average ROAS. If the ROAS is good, okay, you scale up the campaign. If the ROAS is still shit, okay, you turn off the campaign. And that's what I said as well. Like, we focus on really mass testing. So what we do, sometimes when I open my dashboard in one store, we have 300 active campaigns, but they're all running on a very low budget. So, okay, for example, we start running these campaigns on €5, and then after a week, we're going to analyze 70 products we can throw out, but the other ones are slowly doing good. And that's why we never really have these decreases in revenue, because, okay, a lot of products are doing shit, but also a lot of campaigns are doing good. We make sure that our break-even ROAS is around like 1.4, 1.5. So if you're already doing a ROAS of 2.2, you're already making good profit. So that's why we also make sure that our break-even ROAS is really low. So we can actually test a lot of products without having that many losses in the beginning. And then, like I said as well, I think before the meeting, what we do now is, okay, we test, for example, 100 products per store. But like I said as well, you put all these products into campaigns, right? So for example, you put 50 products into one campaign, but only maybe 3 or 4 products will get the spend and will get the results. The other 44 or 45 products in that campaign don't even get the spend they deserve. So it's actually wasted on product listing, wasted on so many things. So what we then do is we duplicate that campaign, we turn off the good products and give the spend to the products that didn't get the spend in the first place. And we do that after a week. So then what we do then is we test these 100 products for a month. And at first, because dropshipping is like testing so many products every week, every day, you actually forget that part. You actually forget like, hey, where's the potential? Which products are actually showing good results? So in the beginning, we tested 100 products per store per week. But so many products, more than like 75% of the products we tested didn't even got the spend, didn't even got the results. So now we're really focused on less products, finding the best products out, test them for a certain amount of time, for like 4 weeks, make sure that every product get the spend they deserve on Pinterest. And then after 4 weeks, we're gonna analyze and see what's working good, and we're gonna focus on these products only. So we make different campaigns. For example, we make weekly winners of these products. We make monthly winners of these products. We're checking, okay, in certain campaigns, we have a lot of add to carts. Okay, we're gonna make a campaign only with products that only had add to carts but no sales. And then we actually see very great results. So that's also a lot of things what we do. We analyze so many things because there are so many different strategies you can actually apply on Pinterest, testing on a very low budget, which can make you test a lot of things out in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's really great. For example, on Facebook, you cannot really do that because you need way more money. You know what I mean? And that's what I said. Like, and that was really, really funny. 2 weeks ago, I was with my front-end manager analyzing all the data from every store, and we had so many campaigns live on each store. I was like, oh, this is too much, you know what I mean? Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to pause for 2 weeks. We're not going to test anything. What we're going to do in these 2 weeks, we're going to analyze, okay, we have like 10 different strategies. Okay, what is the average ROAS? Pause campaigns, active campaigns, what is going good? How do we scale? And then in a week, we see, okay, this is working. Okay, we scaled these campaigns with 20% or 40%. Okay, we analyze that, we write it down. And then after 2 weeks of like having tested nothing at all, we can go again with the data we had from analyzing all this stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you actually know it's like, hey, okay, this sticks, this is not sticking. Okay, let's go with this strategy on this store. And that's a constant loop for us. But for a lot of people, they just do the same stuff over and over again, the same strategies, the same thing, and they think like it's gonna hit at some point. But then after like maybe 2-3 months, it doesn't stick anymore, you know, because it only happened one time.
What is I don't know if this is relevant to what you're saying, but when you talk about just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, they say that's the definition of insanity. You know, just doing things over and over again and expecting something to change. So I guess it's a good thing to mix up your strategy, like you're saying, really analyze the data and I guess just keep testing and iterating, you know?
To interrupt you?
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, you cannot really do that because you need more money. So for us, we A/B test a lot of stuff. We test so many different strategies, but you also need to have some cash flow. So my advice in the beginning, just stick with like 1, 2, 3 strategies for like 2-3 weeks. If that doesn't work, okay, change up your strategy. How many campaigns did you launch and what is the win rate, for example, you know? If you see, okay, the win rate is really shit, okay, you need to change your strategy. And what I always say, like, push your campaigns on the lowest budget possible. If it's not working on the lowest budget, okay, move up your budget a little bit, because otherwise you lose way too many money in the first place. You know what I mean?
So how long would you typically run a new campaign for, and what metrics are you looking out for to determine whether or not this is something that's worth continuing, or that we should maybe just kill it and it's not worked out?
So let's say we test on Monday. So Monday's the first day. Then we're going to analyze on Friday. And for us, like I said, of course, you can look to CPC, CPA and that stuff. But mostly, because we launch so many products into campaigns, we actually only check into the campaign on the products. So like filtering out the bad products and the good products, and just really looking at the ROAS. So, for example, okay, we launch ads on Monday. Friday, we're going to analyze. And then that's 4 days. Okay, we're going to check the last 4 days. We dive into the campaign. We see products that doesn't have good ROAS but high spend. Okay, we turn these products off. Then we're going to check Monday again. So then it's a week over. So then our campaigns have been active for 7 days. So then we can see like, okay, did it make a change turning off these products? Did the ROAS increase? Okay, then we can keep scaling. But that's the thing, like, for example, now if you run campaigns for like 2 weeks, what we do, we check the data from the last 7 days, the data from the last 3 days, and the data from yesterday. And if that all gives us green light, so the last 7 days is good, last 3 days is good, and yesterday is good, okay, then we're going to scale. Otherwise, we're not going to scale. Or if like 2 analyzed dates are bad, we're going to downscale. If 1 is bad, we're just going to keep the budget. And if 3 is all good, then we can scale. And that's how we do it a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense. So essentially just analysing what's working, what's not, turning off what's not working, and then when you're ready, scale up what is working. In short, I guess, right? Yeah. Makes sense. And I guess it's somewhat similar in that sense to testing on Meta. I know you said they're very different platforms in that sense, but I guess for those that are watching that are maybe doing Meta ads and want to give Pinterest a try, I guess that would be the best way to do it. With regards to like where you're positioned now, I know you're kind of scaling into Q4 and you've got some goals that you want to achieve. Could you maybe share a bit about how you might tackle that? Have you figured that out yet? I know you said you're going to be looking into it with your team. Maybe you've not got there yet, but what are your plans for Q4?
So also only for the Pinterest business?
Whatever. Basically,
for me, like right now, been on a different journey as well. So like I said, my business is outsourced for like 90%. Still doing calls every day, of course, to keep in check, to see what's going good and what our issues are, what I need to solve. But yeah, like 3-4 weeks ago, I also made a decision to hop on like personal branding. Because yeah, I want to do coaching on Pinterest. Already got some clients, and yeah, I see just a very great opportunity there because nobody's really teaching Pinterest. Like we said, everybody's on Meta, everybody's on Google, so I think that is going to be the main focus right now. I'm building my platform, building my coaching program right now in Skool. Busy doing that. Already have some clients, 4 clients at the moment. And yeah, building my personal branding, so making a lot of content wherever I go, trying to shoot content. And yeah, for my current business on Pinterest, I think it's just for us, just doing what we just do.
Yeah.
But X to it, you know what I mean? Like we said before, if you wanna, for example, go from 10 to 20K days, okay, what do you need to do? Okay, X to it, you know, systems, better systems, more employees, more stores. And that's actually currently what we also need to do to go to these levels.
Well, the definition of scale is just an increase in volume. So like you say, it's either more ad spend, more scales, different markets. You know, if you just keep on adding more, you're going to surely do more when it comes to your revenue. And I guess it's the same for everything. You mentioned you're focusing on your personal brand. How are you finding that so far? Because sometimes all the content can be a little bit of a grind and more time consuming than people think as well.
When I first started, I thought like, this can be easy, you know what I mean? Just making a little bit content. But sometimes it's actually really exhausted as well. Because now I'm actually also working with a content agency. So, okay, I just make my videos, my photos, I put it in a drive and they flip my videos, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, a little bit lifestyle videos, talking videos, etc. But now wherever I go, I'm thinking, I need to shoot this, I need to shoot that. So sometimes I'm not really in the moment, you know what I mean? Constantly thinking, I need to shoot this, I need to do this, I need to do that. So it's a fun journey because I only started like 1 month ago, gained some followers. Also because of that, I had some clients, you know what I mean? My DMs are getting more, people are asking me what I'm doing. You can also network with a lot of people, and that's, I think, also a very good way to, for example, right now, you know what I mean? If I wasn't on the personal branding, maybe I wasn't sitting here because the content is way better right now. You meet people, they're asking you, hey, also in Bali, you know, there are a lot of people doing the same or doing different businesses. You go out there's somebody, you go to a restaurant, there's somebody, you can meet them at the gym. That's also a very good way to learn a lot more about life, business, and experiences of many other people. So
for me, in that sense, the podcast has been a blessing because you meet so many people, and honestly, the way I describe it is like it's almost like having a coaching call for 1 hour. Like I learn just as much from the guests as the viewers do sometimes because I'm asking the questions I genuinely want to know. I'm like, I actually want to know, like, what does your team look like? I'd like to know that, you know. It's like, you know, it's a blessing in many ways, and yeah, for sure, like the personal brand that comes off the back of it, it's definitely opens up the door to a lot of opportunity. And I think you just gotta start. I don't think it's ever saying that. I was gonna say I don't think it's ever too early. More often than not, it's not too late. But you know, a lot of people say I wish I started further back. But the problem is at the start, it's not even coming into your mind, and as well, you don't have the confidence because you've not done the thing to know, you know, how to really talk about it. So it's a bit of a catch-22. But I would say the upsides are huge. And once you get into the routine of filming content, it can be quite an enjoyable process. But you have to be in the right mood. Sometimes, man, I'll sit down to do a YouTube video and there for a lot longer than I should be. I just can't get my words out.
Yeah. I can understand it. That's also what I'm like dealing with. Like last week, I had an off week of business. I was going to a different place here called Uluwatu with a couple of friends, and I was looking into my WhatsApp chats and all the emails. I was like, things are getting too much, so I need some time to clear my mind, get off business a little bit before I get burned out or whatever, you know what I mean? Don't want to say I get burned out, but sometimes it can be a lot, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, take a step back to eventually take 5 steps forward again. I think that's also very important too. Sometimes you need to know when to take rest, because a lot of people are just running around the clock, but they're not actually productive or doing anything.
Yeah.
It's where you're also going to lose yourself. So, and now, yeah, right now with personal branding, like I said, mainly I'm doing it for the coaching on Pinterest. See a lot of opportunities there. Of course, also making sure I have more income streams, you know what I mean? Okay, I have my current business, Pinterest business. I want to do the coaching, and eventually want to do different stuff. But right now, that's just the focus for this year. And
yeah. What platforms are you focusing on at the moment? Where can people find you and check out your content, learn more about you and Pinterest and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so right now I'm only available on Instagram and TikTok, where I just post my reels, my talking videos, my lifestyle videos. Currently working on the coaching program, which I'm gonna call it Pinflow Mastery. Currently shooting every video what needs to be done for the course. I want to make sure that everything is set up correctly, and I think I will launch it in 2 weeks on Skool. So what I want to do is what I want to have is like, okay, the coaching is going to be like 3 months, one-on-one exclusive with me. That's going to be high ticket. Then I want to sell a course. People can have access. So I want to have different tiers, right? So for people who don't have a lot of money, you can either join a community for like €50 a month. Then I'm selling a course for like what's 1 or 2K. And then the coaching is going to be exclusive for maybe the people that already have some experience in ecom, but they want to figure or they want to try out a new business model. So for example, okay, you're tired of Facebook's not working for you, come to Pinterest, because Pinterest is a really stable and consistent business model. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. That's my focus. And like I said, I will launch it in like 2 weeks. So.
Yeah. Nice, amazing. Well, I hope the launch goes well for you. I wish you all the best. Some exciting things that you're doing on Pinterest, and I don't really know of anyone else kind of doing it. I know you went through some Pinterest mentorship yourself, so obviously people are doing it. I guess if you dig enough, you'll find it. But yeah, I hope the launch of all of that goes well. I wish you the best of luck scaling your personal brand, and what a great place to start on the podcast as well. So that'll get you some exposure, I'm sure. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here today. I will drop all of your links in the video description for your IG and your TikTok. And yeah, I guess if people want to find you, they can reach out there.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a good conversation, and thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.